The cold violet sky stretched endlessly above the landing platform. Two suns hung side by side, pale and watchful, casting strange overlapping shadows across the black stone ground. Daniel stepped out of the shuttle slowly, his boots echoing with sharp clicks in the quiet air. For a brief second, he forgot to breathe. He wasn't on Earth anymore. Every color, every scent, every sound was foreign. The air itself carried a faint metallic taste, mixed with the sweet perfume of flowers he had never seen before. Blue vines with glowing blossoms crawled along the edges of the platform, pulsing softly as if alive. His chest tightened. This was the throne world of the Zalari Empire, the most powerful alien civilization known in the galaxy. Entire star systems feared their name. Entire fleets had burned under their command. Humanity had only recently crawled into space, still weak, still untested. And now, the alien queen herself had summoned him. But why him? Daniel was no soldier, no leader. He wasn't a hero or a politician. He was just a young translator, chosen because he had a talent for learning alien words faster than most. His job was small: record, translate, and stay out of trouble. And yet, the message from the Zalari had been clear. Bring the human named Daniel. Only him. That order alone had shaken Earth's council. Now he stood here, feeling very much like a mouse walking into the den of lions. Tall alien guards lined the path leading into the grand hall. They were terrifying and beautiful at the same time. Their skin shimmered like polished silver under the twin suns. Their faces were almost human. 2 eyes, a nose, a mouth, but stretched slightly too long, their features sharp like blades. Glowing blue markings ran along their arms, pulsing faintly with every heartbeat. Each guard carried a spear of radiant light that seemed alive, humming quietly in the air. As Daniel passed between them, every guard lowered their head in silence. He froze mid-step. Why were they bowing to him? His throat went dry. He wanted to ask, but the words stuck. No one explained. No one spoke. Inside the throne hall, the air was heavier. Fragrant smoke curled upward from crystal braziers. The floor was smooth black stone polished until it shone like water. Columns of pale white rose into a ceiling so high he couldn't see it, each one carved with flowing symbols that shimmered faintly whenever his eyes moved across them, as if the symbols were alive. The silence pressed on him like a weight. Every step felt louder than it should, echoing into the endless chamber. And then he saw her, the alien queen. She sat on a throne that looked carved from living crystal, glowing faintly from within. A curtain of golden light fell behind her, illuminating her like a figure from legend. Her long silver hair shimmered with the same glow, cascading over shoulders draped in a gown that seemed woven from liquid metal. Her skin was flawless, soft and pale, yet her presence struck Daniel like lightning. She was beautiful, yes, impossibly so, but also dangerous, the way a storm is beautiful before it destroys everything in its path. Her eyes glowed like molten gold. They did not just look at him. They pierced through him. Daniel froze at the center of the hall. He had no idea what to do. Was he supposed to bow? Kneel? Speak? His heart pounded so hard he thought the guards might hear it. The queen rose from her throne. The sound of her robe brushing across the floor echoed in the silence. Slowly, with perfect grace, she walked forward. The entire hall shifted. The guards lowered their spears. The attendants dropped to their knees. Even the air seemed to hold its breath. No one dared look up. But Daniel's body betrayed him. He couldn't move. His legs were locked, his hands shaking slightly at his sides. The queen came closer. Her golden eyes never left his face. When she finally stopped in front of him, the world seemed to collapse into silence. Daniel felt as though time itself was waiting for this moment. And then the impossible happened. The alien queen lowered herself to one knee before him. Her silver hair spilled across the black stone floor. Her head bowed. The guards gasped. The attendants whispered in disbelief. Never in the history of the Empire had their queen knelt before anyone. Daniel's heart stopped. His throat closed. He could not understand what he was seeing. The queen spoke, her voice soft but clear, carrying through the vast chamber like music. You have returned. The words hit him like a hammer. Returned. Daniel thought, frozen in place. What is she talking about? I've never been here before. I don't even belong here. But her voice carried no doubt. It was filled with emotion, with recognition. Her golden eyes, when she lifted them to meet his, shimmered as if on the edge of tears. "You have returned," she repeated, louder this time, as though declaring it to her people. The hall erupted into chaos. Soldiers shouted, some in anger, others in confusion. Attendants muttered in fear. The ground vibrated with the rising noise. Daniel felt like he was drowning in sound. His mind screamed for answers, but all he could manage to whisper was, "I don't understand." The queen's gaze softened. "You will, in time." She raised her hand, silencing the entire hall at once. Her voice became sharp, commanding. "Take him to the inner chambers. No harm must touch him." Strong hands gripped Daniel's shoulders. Guard began to lead him away. He stumbled, glancing back in disbelief. The alien queen was still kneeling. Her golden eyes locked on him as if she feared he might vanish. And in that instant, Daniel knew one thing with absolute certainty. Whatever this was, whatever she believed about him, nothing about his life would ever be the same again. The guards' hands were firm on Daniel's shoulders as they led him deeper into the throne hall. Their skin was cool and smooth, almost metallic to the touch, and their glowing spears hovered close enough to remind him he was a prisoner. Or perhaps something even stranger. The queen's last words echoed in his mind. "You have returned." But how could that be true? He had never set foot on this world. He had never met her. He was nobody. The soldiers marched him down a long corridor of white stone, lit by glowing veins of crystal that pulsed like the heartbeat of a living creature. Strange murals stretched across the walls, showing battles in the stars, winged figures with spears of light and a face. Daniel slowed his steps when he noticed it. It was carved in the stone, faded with time, but clear enough to see. A human face, round eyes, a familiar jawline, short hair. The figure was surrounded by alien warriors bowing low, their weapons lowered. His stomach twisted. It looked like him. The guard at his side shoved him forward, and Daniel stumbled, tearing his eyes away from the mural. This can't be real, he thought. It's just coincidence. It has to be. The corridor opened into a vast chamber unlike anything he had seen before. The ceiling curved like the inside of a giant dome, its surface glowing faintly as if made of living light. Pools of blue water lined the edges, their surfaces smooth and mirror-like. Alien attendants moved silently through the chamber, their robes trailing across the polished floor. At the center stood a circular platform, raised slightly above the ground. The guards pushed Daniel onto it and stepped back. A low hum filled the air. Golden light began to rise from the floor, wrapping around the platform like a cage. He reached out to touch it, and the light felt warm, almost alive, pushing gently against the skin like invisible hands. From the shadows, a tall figure approached. Not the queen, someone older. His skin was darker silver, his markings brighter, his robe heavy with symbols Daniel could not read. His eyes glowed faintly blue, calm but sharp, like the eyes of someone who had seen centuries of war and secrets. "I am Kaler," the alien said in perfect English, his voice deep and slow. "High priest of the Zalari." Daniel's pulse quickened. A priest? Kaler studied him for a long moment, then nodded slightly. So it is true. The queen was not mistaken. The face is the same. Daniel swallowed hard. What face? Why is everyone looking at me like they know me? The priest tilted his head. "You do not know your own bloodline." "My bloodline?" Daniel repeated, confused. I'm just human. My parents were teachers. I grew up in a small city on Earth. I don't know anything about this place." The priest's expression did not change. "And yet you stand here. The queen herself bowed to you. That has not happened in 1,000 years. Daniel felt his knees weaken. "You're saying this has happened before?" "Yes," Kaler said, his voice heavy. "Long ago, a being came to us. A human, though we did not know the name then. He carried the same face as you. He came from the stars, wielding no weapon, yet armies fell before him. He united tribes, ended wars, and bound as a Lari under one crown. The crown of the queen you saw today. Daniel's breath caught. You're saying some human ruled here before? Kaler's golden eyes narrowed. Not ruled, saved, and then vanished. The words hit Daniel like thunder. A part of him wanted to laugh. This was impossible. How could human have been here 1,000 years ago, before Earth had even invented space travel? And why would he look exactly the same? The priest stepped closer, his presence heavy and commanding. The queen believes you are his return, his spirit reborn. She has waited for this day. Daniel shook his head. No, that's not possible. I'm just me. I don't have powers. I don't know your history. I don't even understand why I'm here. Kaler studied him silently for a moment. Then his voice dropped lower. Then we must test you. The light cage around the platform brightened, and the pools of water surrounding the chamber began to ripple. Slowly, shapes rose from the surface, warriors made of liquid light, their forms shifting but solid enough to hold weapons. They stepped forward in silence, encircling Daniel. Daniel's heart pounded. He took a step back, his hands raised. Wait, what are you doing? The priest's voice was calm. If you are who she believes, the test will not harm you. If you are not, then the truth will be revealed. The first warrior lunged. Daniel barely dodged, stumbling across the platform. The blade of light sliced the air where he had been standing, leaving a trail of sparks. He tripped, hit the floor, and scrambled back to his feet. Stop. I'm not a fighter, he shouted. The warriors moved in perfect rhythm, each step precise, their glowing eyes fixed on him. Another blade swung, and Daniel raised his arm instinctively. There was a flash. The warrior's blade stopped an inch from his skin, as if hitting an invisible wall. The entire chamber shook with a low hum. The golden light around the platform flared brighter, pushing the warriors back. Kaler's eyes widened. For the first time, the priest's calm broke. It is true, he whispered. Daniel looked at his arm, his heart racing. He hadn't done anything. He hadn't called for power. Yet something he couldn't explain, had protected him. The warriors dissolved back into liquid, melting into the pools until the chamber was still again. Kaler stepped forward, his voice trembling now. The queen was right. You carry the mark of the one who came before, the one who saved us. Daniel shook his head, his chest tight. No, this isn't real. It can't be. But deep inside, a cold truth was growing. Something was happening to him. Something he couldn't deny. The priest bowed his head slightly. Then the question is not if you have returned, but why you have come back now.